Long-term depression it goes under a more personality issue than just life stress or something like that. Some people experience depression because of life experiences, but some people experience it because it's actually in their genetically, their brains are made this way where they have less serotonin. You cannot judge someone who's in the therapy room. Yeah, basically, I researched about stress. So I gave all this information about stress, but then how do we apply stress into daily life? Session, whereas online there's still a barrier, there's still a wall.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode on the Aadmi podcast. This is your host, Perniya Said Paul, and today I have brought with me another guest. His name is Huzaifa. He is a psychology student at University of Hertfordshire in UK. And today I'm going to talk to him about an online mental health organization he is a part of as a psychological research head. The organization's name is Mustamya. So, hi Huzaifa, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. So introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, so as Perniya said that my name is Huzaifa Zahid. I am a final year psychology student at the University of Hertfordshire, and I work as a psychological research head at an online mental health organization called Mustamya. And basically, the whole idea behind Mustamya is, which I was quite inspired by, was this let's just talk. Their initiative was just let's just talk. And I've pretty much been inspired by this idea because I really believe in catharsis. And I think just reaching out to somebody, it could be anyone, it could be, especially if it's anonymous, it's much safer that way, and you just want to rant for a little bit, and in a safe environment, I think that can really help you know you to go about with your day. And so an online mental health organization which is free to access, it's always helpful, it's always useful to have that around you, in your contacts, in your close by. So yeah, that's why I joined the organization. But my role basically includes me going to using the resources that I have over here to collect up-to-date information on any abnormal psychological conditions, such as bipolar disorders, such as stress, such as personality disorders. It could be mood disorders. All of these abnormal psychological conditions, I can collect like up-to-date information and then have references attached with that. And then since I have experience in writing academic style papers, I can write a blog for their website. It's a 1,000-word blog, and that goes up on their website about each of these topics. And then we also have an Instagram page where we basically condense the blog into Instagram slides, and that just goes up on our Instagram page. So it's a part of the psychoeducation project under Mustamya. And so yeah, I primarily work for that project.
Wonderful, wonderful. So how did you come across Mustamya? Traveled.
Mustamya it's run by my best friend, actually. She is the co-founder, and she told me about the organization. And at first I was a little intimidated because she wanted me to be the psychological research head because she knew I'm good at psychology research. I was first intimidated because I was like, maybe I can't run a whole project on my own. But then I decided, I realized that I actually do enjoy research a little bit. And so it doesn't have to be that scary. I just have to do what they tell me, and it's not that bad. So I decided to take it. And also, this university required me to do some work experience, some hours of work experience. And so I kind of used Mustamya as that, and they allowed that. And so that is why I also joined Mustamya. I was an intern, but now I'm a psychological research head.
So were there certain challenges that you had to go through while interacting with new people when you moved to the UK and then you find Mustamya as well?
See, I think if you're passionate, if you have a goal and if you have a drive inside you, then it's not that hard to interact with new people. I think it will be hard if at times when you feel lost, and at times when you feel that you don't know what you're doing with your life, it can feel very isolating and you want to just stay at home because you don't know how to navigate with life. But I feel like if you have a drive, if you have passion, then going about your day, meeting people that are relevant to you and like your field, and making new friends, I feel like it's not as hard. I think you can genuinely make some good connections. So that was my experience, at least. I don't know how other people obviously have different methods, but in my experience, I think, yeah, having a goal, having a drive, it will be easier to sort of like make new connections.
Yeah, that is pretty good. It's inspirational, and I'll also remember that. So you mentioned that you felt a little intimidated while you were given a huge opportunity to join Mustamya. So when you were going through that phase, did the people who were a part of the organization help you with the things you're dealing with personally? Like, would you be able to tell our viewers about what you went through?
Oh yeah, so my supervisors obviously are very, very nice. I basically so since my best friend is a co-founder, I don't deal with her because that will be a little unprofessional. So the other co-founder, that's she's my primary co-founder, my primary supervisor, and basically the whole idea behind a mental health organization is obviously to promote mental health, and work can be stressful. And so this is what they always like. I'm so blessed that they always put this forward, that your mental health comes first. And if you are not physically and mentally well, then obviously we can't run the organization in a professional and efficient manner. So they always have these things where if you want to take a break from Mustamya, you're more than welcome to, you just let us know. And if you're going through something, just like have good communication and trust your supervisors. I know that not every supervisor is works this way, but I'm just so blessed that in Mustamya these supervisors, they are very professional, they're very friendly, and they really take into consideration your mental health. And so at times when obviously research can get a little hectic, I was allowed to take a break. I'm actually on my break right now because of my exams, and so they have a document which you just have to fill in that you're going on a break for a little while, and then you can just come back whenever you want to. So yeah, just having that opportunity, having that chance, and knowing that that is a like option for you, I think you can feel safe in the organization, and you can trust your supervisors, yeah, that kind of thing.
So it didn't take much of a toll on you personally, right?
Yeah, no, they used to give me a deadline, but it wasn't a date. It was more like a week. So
Hmm.
this week, just let us, finish this document. And so a week, having a deadline which is a week is a big window, and it's a little bit more flexible. So even that motivated me to work and to be on time. And so yeah, they were never like on me and they were like, where's your work, where's your work? No, I was always given a flexible time. Yeah.
So it was easier to balance between studies and that. So
Yeah, definitely. They really take into consideration that every intern at this organization, every core member is in university right now, I believe. And so they know that uni work comes first and then comes this organization. They take into consideration that fact. So yeah, they were never on me, where's the work? And they do consider that I'm also in university because they're also in university. So yeah, I'll sort of work that way.
okay, so when you were designated as a psychological research head of the organization, what were the responsibilities that were assigned to you and what was your initial reaction?
One of the big changes from an intern to a head position is that you're supposed to have a team under you. I have one person under me right now who works, I let her know what she needs to do. And me, I never thought of myself running. I don't really have a team. I just have one person running. But it feels like, I'm a leader, and I never had leadership skills or leadership capabilities. So that part was a little intimidating for me. And that's sort of like I would say it's the only change, because I still have to do the research, I still have to do everything I did as an intern, but just the new thing as being a head is that you can have a team under you and you can assign them tasks. And I personally work this way where it's just maybe I'm a little arrogant or something. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody to do the work that I do. And so trusting someone to sort of assign them work and be like, okay, if you can do it this way. But ever since I have one person working for me, she's doing an amazing job. She's really professional, and she sometimes even does work better than me. So I should really get out of this arrogant phase and know that people are better than me too. But yeah, she's really good, and she's also a psychology student. So yeah, it really helps. Actually, it does help. It does take a burden off of me. I'm allowed to take a 1 month break only because I now have someone also working for me.
So, what are the programs that Mustamya offers to the public?
The projects that are run by Mustamya right now are, one of them is Chingari. Chingari is an online podcast. Basically, it's something like this where we can talk about any personal issue in a, how do I say? So, for example, I wanted to talk about loneliness versus solitude when I was in that podcast. So basically, this was around, being an introvert and enjoying my own space. And loneliness is a whole other feeling than feeling solitude and enjoying that. So something like this, something that your experience and you're passionate about to talk about, it was a podcast that was run in this manner. So that's one of the podcast, that's one of the projects. And then other projects currently running at Mustamya, let me think. Oh yeah, there's A Cup Chai. A Cup Chai is basically, it's all the research that we do in psychoeducation that is being applied into daily life. And so the whole concept behind A Cup Chai is that you can talk about something while having an A Cup Chai. So it's a discussion. So for example,
That's cool.
yeah, so basically, like, I researched about stress. So I gave all this information about stress, but then how do we apply stress into daily life? I know currently we are under inflation. I know a lot of the countries are in inflation right now, and that is a stressful thing for loads of people. And so we used that research and then sort of applied it into a conversation while having an A cup chai. And so that's the whole idea behind the name.
So these type of therapeutic sessions are very different, right?
They're more informal. They are obviously, this has to be put out. We are not therapists. We are no way as qualified as a therapist, and we never call ourselves that. We're just a friendly ear that you can use, and we are like a safe space for people that you don't always have to be a therapist to have a safe space around you. So this is why we want to promote an informal mental health organization. So, because just knowing that, you have to get in touch with a professional, it can feel a little jarring, and you could feel like, oh, I have to do so much to actually get help. It doesn't always have to work that way. You can get help in a more informal manner. And of course, if you are struggling, like really struggling, then yeah, we would very much encourage you to get in touch with a therapist. But if it's just daily life stress that you want to just rant and you want to talk about, and if you don't really have a network around you, like a good, supportive group of friends or something, then you can always get in touch with this organization, and we'll try to help you as much as, not help you, we'll try to, that's another, I would say, big word, help. So we don't take that word, we don't use that word. We basically say that we would try to be there for you and just be a listening ear. And yeah, hopefully that comes off as support some way. So yeah, that's the whole idea behind Mustamya. Yeah.
Okay, so when Mustamya was formed, did you feel that the therapies, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy delivered through digital technology, are as effective as those delivered face to face, like the ones that normal therapists do?
Yeah, so actually I have an exam, and that's one of the questions, like face-to-face therapy versus online. And so research has actually shown that people do prefer face-to-face therapy because there's more trust that builds in that therapy session, whereas online there's still a barrier, there's still a wall. So I would personally, even for me, I think face-to-face therapy works better. But there are other people, like even in the organization that I work in right now, I know a member loves online therapy. She takes online therapy and she loves it, and she prefers it more than face-to-face, because face-to-face for her is a little bit more stressful. So yeah, it's based on individual differences, what do you prefer? And so it could be, you want to try both methods and see which one works for you.
So how did you've seen how things go at Mustamya? So did it help you personally? Did it impact you or create any changes inside you?
Yeah, so I was asked to do, like, a heavy amount of research in a limited amount of time. And I realized that I enjoy research because obviously research is hectic, it is work, but every aspect, like, every work is work, if that makes sense. It's the work that you can least, is the least stressful for you, is the least demanding. So I think research for me currently works, and I enjoy it. And that made me think that maybe I can do a PhD, because before I was not even thinking about a PhD. I was like, I don't think I can ever do a PhD.
I also want to talk about how most people are afraid to take therapy because they feel that they'll be judged for their backstory. So how does
Mhm.
Mustamya plan to change that perspective?
Yeah, so having a very safe environment and practicing non-judgmental way of speaking and talking, basically just having the idea that you cannot judge someone who's in the therapy room. Just having that in your mindset just really helps to run that. So if you're in Chingari, right, if you're in those podcasts, and the person who's taking that hosting that podcast has this in their mindset that I'm not going to judge this person, then that conversation just really becomes like a friendly, like a safe sort of open ear type conversation, goes that way. So I believe just having that mindset. Obviously, again, I would like to put this: we do not have training to become a therapist, and obviously training is how you actually learn to be non-judgmental. But I also believe that having that mindset inside you, that you're not going to be judgmental, you're just gonna, you know put all of your judgments aside and just listen to this person, that can help, drive a friendly conversation. It can go a whole other way than if you have a mindset, okay, what is this guy doing, why is this guy doing this? Yeah, so I think that's how we basically run Chingari sessions. Yeah.
So you've been to many countries. Do you see a difference in mindset when it comes to mental health? Do when people term it as a phase, do you think that it should be termed as a phase? What do you think?
It can be short term and it can be long term.
Mm.
Long term depression is actually, it goes under a more personality issue than just life stress or something like that. So yeah, again, it's a individual to individual thing. Some people experience depression because of life experiences, but some people experience it because it's actually in their, like, they're genetically, their brains are made this way, where they have less serotonin, and so they can experience depression all their lives. And so that can impact the way we approach therapy, the way we approach mental health. I'm currently doing this research between cognitive behavioral therapy and psychodynamic therapy. Both are different approaches, and I've realized that CBT is more for people who have short-term depression, because CBT is more structured. It's more like, you can talk about, it's basically what's happening in the present, whereas psychodynamic approach looks into your past, it looks into your childhood. So if you have long-term depression that runs from your childhood, then psychodynamic is the approach that you want to use. This is just from my research at university, not from Mustamya. Yeah, I think that's how different mindsets can deal with mental health resources.
So how has been the response towards Mustamya from the public? Have you seen people come to you and with different stories and ask for someone to be the
I did not host any Chingari sessions myself, so I did not have any public dealing with people. But then, our page has a relatively decent following. It's not that high though. It's like around 600 followers, not too much. But it's I see comments on the post like, this is very, especially on the psychoeducation posts, that this is very informative. And people personally also asked me, a guy just recently asked me about bipolar disorder, and so I felt like he shared my Mustamya post and just said, could you tell me more about bipolar? So he basically came from that Instagram post. And so yeah, I think it is a slow impact, but it is an impact. And if it can even help one person, this is what we really believe in. If our organization can even help one person know that there is a safe space around you, then that's a victory, honestly, because none of us are professionals. So we can't expect, the entire world to follow us or something like that. So even if it's just a small following of, young adults who are going through life and they find this service helpful, then honestly, that's amazing. That's great.
I'm really happy you're making a difference. Like,
Thank you so much. I personally, I don't know if I am, but yeah, the whole team works this way. Yeah.
it's an effort, it's an impact, as you said. Where can people reach out to you?
So our Instagram page is literally just called Mustamya, which is Mustamya, Mustamya. It's a blue and purple logo. It's like this, a spiral. And we have a website as well. I believe it's www.mustamya.org. Yeah, those are two main social media. Those are the two main platforms.
I will be moving on to the conclusion, and I want to ask you is what is the one thing that you want to say to the people watching this podcast and to the people who are struggling but they're unable to voice out their hearts?
I want to say you're not alone. And I want to say there is help available for you. There are listening ears, there are empathetic individuals who run these types of services just to listen to you. So know that you're not alone. And any problem, whether it's big or small, if it's big for you, it's big, it's valid. So I would encourage people to reach out to these services. We are just like you guys. We're almost the same age. We're like young adults, and life is, it may seem very unique to you. It may seem like my problems are just, no one will ever understand it. If that is the case, we will try our 100% to understand it. But just know that everyone goes through, we're all on the same boat. We just want to help out. We just want to be nice to each other, be kind, and help out each other as much as possible.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you, Zepha, for being here, taking out the time and sharing your experience and sharing a lot about Mustamya. So
Mhm.
I just want to say, reach out, and it's not bad to ask for help. There are always going to be people who are going to be there for you. Be kind and spread kindness. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching this podcast. Please subscribe to the channel, which is the Aadmi podcast on YouTube. And thank you. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.